You're all there. Oh no. Welcome to Digital Asset News. Take the top stories in cryptocurrency and digital assets and break them down into bite-sized pieces. How's everybody doing tonight? Man, it is hot. It is super hot. Glad that you are here. Unbelievable. Let me come back. It is Chewy, as everybody knows him. So first of all, thanks, Alex, for telling me that my fans are restless. Without you, I wouldn't have hit the right button to get going. Incredible. Let me back up here. So first of all, before we start, let's make sure that the audio is good and that the video is actually, we're able to not be so glitchy. So let's just start with there, shall we? Audio is good. Oops. And let me pull up the chat, shall we? Here we are. Why is he posting links? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because I forget sometimes that when I do, usually I just go live. And today I did a scheduled one. And I forgot to click the second button because I use OBS. You click on start, go live, and then you also have to do it into YouTube and another button and everything else. Sorry about that. I apologize. All right. Roll Tide. What's up, Rob? What's up, John? Thanks for coming on. Diamond Hands. Diamond Hands isn't. That's what I told him. All good. Thanks, Alex, for texting me. Holy smokes. A little bit off there. Let's back up, shall we? How's everybody doing? Doing good? Fantastic. Here's what I want to talk about today. First of all, we'll get into this in a second. I just want to let you know, before we get on to the banks and how they're capitulating and really just waving the white flag, which they should have done a long time ago. Man, first of all, it is hot. You know how hot it is here in El Paso? It's 101 degrees and it's 8:10 p.m. 8:10 p.m. So, you know when everybody talks, let me show you something. You know, everybody talks about, oh, Rob, you got this great pool house and it's a great office and it's so lucky. It's not lucky. Listen. It's not that great because days like today are brutal. The only thing that cools me off is if I take a dip in the pool or the fan. But this is where I've done all my work for years. So that's just how I do things. So just remember, looks can be deceiving. We'll just say that. But and you can see that it's a little bit nice and shiny. And back to me. Stop me from complaining and rambling. So here's what it is. Today, we continue on with our video series. I have my man Hashoshi here. You can see him in the top left corner. And we had Brandon and Owen from Card Starter, because what we're trying to do is talk about the Cardano ecosystem. And it was an interesting talk, because I think what's going to happen with Cardano is great. First of all, this is the launch platform, and all the different products that launch on Card Starter are insured. And I thought it was great because DeFi products, how many times have we, people have lost money on that. So I will have that. We just did the video, the call about 3 hours ago. So I'll have it up on Dan Clips. If you want to find my second channel, just type in Digital Asset News Clips, and this will come up. The playlist, we've already had Indigo Protocol, which is synthetic assets. We've already had World Mobile Token. We've already had Charlie, which is the Oracle service. Those are all being built on Cardano. Once August comes around, the smart contracts, I'm telling you guys, Cardano is going to be just fat, enormous. That's all I can really put to it. And just like Ethereum had the ICO days in 2017, Binance had its run with Smart Chain, Cardano's going to have a major run. And I'm pretty bullish on it. And also, we had a pretty good talk over on Alex's show about Theta and T-Fuel. The whole show was Theta and T-Fuel. So if you're into Theta, you probably know a lot of these things, but if you're into Theta and you like it, you like the project, and T-Fuel, definitely watch this video. And I link that in the chat. I'll link in the description at some point, but just search for Alex Mascioli, or in my description, he's always there. What I need everybody to realize is that this right here, it was great to have a fundamental perspective, which was mine, CJ's perspective, which was TA, and Alex that kind of run the whole show. And what's great about this is you get the whole spectrum of what's going on. And even though we are all bullish long-term on this one, I wish this type of channel was around in 2017, because it would have saved me a lot of heartache and a lot of problems, because it looked at all the different sides and what's going to happen. And just so you know, it's going to be big. Mainnet 3.0 launch June 30th. They're burning T-Fuel, 25% of it. And we talk all about it here. But yeah, if you're an investor or a trader or both like ourselves, you got to watch this video, and it'll just give you a pretty good insight about what's going on. Anyhow, that's that. Let's break into this. Texas, how you doing? Man, let me tell you. How y'all doing? Texas is great. I love living here. It's a great state. I've been here for, 15 years, something like that. I'm a Midwest transplant, but man, I love this. I love this state. I love how they do things. And it's the reason why a lot of tech companies in California moved to Texas and Florida. First of all, the lifestyle is fantastic. And second of all, there's no state taxes. And they don't get dinged like that. And then this right here, this little story came about because this came across my desk. The authority of the Texas State Charter of Banks provide virtual currency custody services to customers, Texas Department of Banking. I think this is fantastic because of not only what happened, but it's like that second evolution to what the governor, Greg Abbott, came out and said, look, I just passed in a law that we're going to have a master plan for blockchain. He didn't really let too much on about it, but I think this is one of those steps that they're going to do to get into crypto digital assets and blockchain. I was concerned because he says blockchain. We're getting the blockchain. I was like, that's what China says. But, hey, here we are talking about this. So what is going on? I think this is good news because banks may offer fiduciary and non-fiduciary custody services, which could range from safely storing copies of a customer's private keys to directly controlling crypto assets. Look, I know I was reading the chats before as I was waiting to hit the right button. And let me bring this up real quick. A lot of people in the chats, I reckon I've done good. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people in the chats were like, I would never let the banks custody my crypto. There's no way, not a chance in hell. Great. I get you. And I wouldn't either. But here's the thing. Your goals are not my goals. Your goals are not everybody else's goals. So what do you say to somebody who's trying to get into crypto, single mom, 3 kids, 2 jobs, and she's trying to make sure that she gets into not just the right project, but that she doesn't lose any of her private keys. She doesn't fall prey to a scam. She doesn't have really the information or knowledge that she really has to have. I mean, that last part, I can just fix it with taking her to danteachescrypto.com. Here's a story. If she can't take care of that, and let's just say that she loses her private keys, she loses her information to get in. Who's responsible for that? Well, now all her life savings is gone. And we actually had a discussion about this, me, CJ, and Alex about this, and we were talking about Ledger. It doesn't matter. The thing is, even me, back in 2018, when I was investing into ADA Cardano, which we just talked about how bullish I am on this one, I lost my private key. And I think everybody knows this story. I put it on a piece of paper, looked something like this, and I lost it. This was during the testnet days, because I was like, I know I got to store it somewhere safe. I'm smart. And I put it somewhere safe. Now I can't remember what it is. And 20,000 ADA gone. So when people talk about you will never let that and nobody should ever do that and you should custody yourself, just wait, back up and calm down. We want people in this space as much as possible. Baby steps, baby steps. If you have to have the bank custody a couple of things to take control of these assets and this is my question though, if they're going to control these assets and I wonder if it's going to be insured through the bank. Now that will be interesting if they come out and said, hey, we're going to insure all your crypto assets. Yeah, I think that let them crawl before they can run. Get into the banks. Let them understand what crypto digital assets are. Let them understand how the ledger works. Let's be honest. It's clunky and it's a pain. And they don't lose anything. And then they can learn about it and then get into these higher type of things. You know, farming, putting it on a cold storage wallet, set limit orders, all the great things, right? And that's what's going on. Seattle Paddler says, I keep seeing you in t-shirt ads. Yeah. Classic t-shirts, classic tees. You love them. They got these new polos out. Looks not too bad, right? Form fitting, big in the belly, which is, I drink too much beer sometimes. What are you going to do? And that's what's going on. All right, so let me get back to this. So, next part. Texas Department of Banking's notice comes amid a booming presence from the crypto industry in Texas. Miners and crypto startups have been moving to Texas in record numbers to take advantage of the state's relatively cheap energy and crypto-friendly regulatory environment. So you don't understand something. The reason why people are moving here, we just talked about, right? California, all those different companies moved to Austin, parts of San Antonio and Dallas, no state tax, right? Then it looks like it's becoming more crypto-friendly. So a lot of more crypto companies are going to come here, or Miami, Florida. And to me, I just kind of see this all kind of coming together, in all honesty, because isn't it weird how first everybody was into Bitcoin? You had Kevin O'Leary was like, Bitcoin's great. Then you had that car salesman, Bitcoin's great. And then all of a sudden they're like, you know what? There's this problem with this, non-renewable sources, and there's coal. We don't really like that, so we're going to step back until that gets fixed. And then all of a sudden, well, on the same time, China's like, we're going to kind of step away, and we're going to boot these miners out of China because we don't want to compete with the digital yuan. That's what I think personally. And then all of a sudden, now there's a big push in Texas to like, hey, it seems like there's a gap here and an opportunity. I see opportunities everywhere. Entrepreneurs always do. And when I see something like this, and I'm the great state of Texas, I'm like, you know what? You need to mine something? You can mine it right here. And you want renewables? Guess what? We got a plenty of that. Because we've got the sun, there's nothing but solar energy out here, tons of it. And on top of that, I think we even have even more wind energy. If you travel through Texas like I do from El Paso to Houston, you will see a ton of wind turbines. And on top of that, they even have Bitcoin mining operations like the Layer 1 Solutions, which is owned by Peter Thiel, that billionaire guy. And they've figured out a way to use these renewable sources, and on top of that, they figured out a way to cool the motherboards for the Bitcoin mining operation, some proprietary system. So to me, I'm just thinking to myself, the dominoes just all fall together. China gets out of it. All these different banks, all these sovereign funds go, we want to get into it, but we need some renewables. And then all of a sudden, all these places in America are like, hey, we got you. We see which way the winds are blowing, and we think that we can do these things. I mean, that's for the states that actually get it. I mean, if you're in New York and you're going to run that 3-year ban that they're proposing, good luck with that, New York. Nice job. But that's up to you guys. Anyhow, so to finish up, according to Marcus Adams, Assistant General Counsel at the Texas Department of Banking, the state is not taking its crypto guidance from the Fed, but rather making decisions on the growing popularity of crypto in Texas. That's right. That's how we do things. We're not really too trusting of the Fed, and we kind of do everything ourselves. I mean, Greg Abbott was one of the first to say, hey, no masks. Seemed to work out okay. Both of the state and federal regulatory agency were seeing a rise in the virtual currency industry as it continues to evolve. We expect our banks, Texas banks, to start seeing demand from their customers, and we want them to be prepared for that. Look, some banks are great, some banks get it, and some banks don't. We've seen this on Twitter, we've seen this in the social medias where these banks have sent out letters to different people and go, look, you are transferring a lot of funds from your account into a crypto exchange, and we either want you to be aware that we don't approve of that, or we're going to stop your account. And it's still happening, which is crazy. I even got a notice a while back from Wells Fargo. This was like a couple of years back, but it was I was like, yeah, whatever, you guys suck anyhow. Because, I mean, I was like, first of all, I was like, why would I even keep my money in there? I mean, am I getting any interest? It's just inflating, so I'll just put it in place like Voyager and Celsius, which is what I do the majority of the time anyhow. So yeah, so I think, why not? And then lastly, and I'll leave it at this, this is the kind of the not so great part. He says, how soon we see Texas state chartered banks actually start offering these and get these products and services in place is really dependent on the individual banks and what kind of resources they have available. Let me tell you something. Let me make this as crystal clear as I possibly can. The banks, especially the brick and mortars, are closing down at a rapid rate because they don't need them so much, because people aren't really visiting, because there's a decrease in revenue. And then, of course, cryptocurrency also eats into their market cap. They need customers. They need customers that put money into their banks. If people start to ask about these services a little bit more, I believe they'll be like, we can make money on that? Well, that sounds pretty good. And again, probably not for us. But if you're going to talk to your friends or something like that, and they're like, it's risky and illicit activities, just go, well, talk to your bank and ask them about it. Because look, in Texas, they're able to custody it. I don't know what state you're in or where you're at or in which country you're actually at, but just go talk to your bank. It's the same thing. Once they hear banks are just businesses, right? As they hear the same thing over and over and over again, and you tell all your friends, if you want to do that, or if you want to teach them how to ledger, good luck. Just tell them to go to the bank and just say, hey, let's, how do you do this? Do you have any kind of services like this? Can you do any kind of custody? Can I do any kind of transferring? Is there any kind of thing of service where I can do any kind of swaps? I mean, that might not happen, but I think it's important. And this whole story actually takes me back to when I met Alex Mascioli. He did a great story on CoinDesk when the OCC, the Office of the Currency, the Comptroller of the Currency, and he a while back said, we're going to allow banks to custody crypto. And everyone was excited except for one guy. Alex wrote a piece and he goes, calm down. They're not going to do it. Banks are not innovators. If you think they're going to do it, you're wrong. And I read that and I covered it on my show, and I reached out to him on Twitter and I was like, hey man, that's a great article. And he's like, yeah, thanks. He goes, that's the truth. And he was 100% right. They still haven't done anything. But it's amazing as things start to really take off in the cryptocurrency space, all of a sudden banks are like, oh, we should get into this. Which brings me to my next point. This little article, the Basel Committee proposes banks set aside capital to cover Bitcoin exposure. Not that this is a great article, but it moves the needle in the right direction. As long as they're talking about it, I'm happy. So the world's most influential banking regulator thinks banks with Bitcoin exposure should set aside capital to cover losses in full. So at least they're thinking about it. I'll take it. The Bank for International Settlements Basel Committee suggested splitting crypto assets into two groups, those eligible for treatment under existing frameworks and those that are not. The first category would comprise tokenized assets and stablecoins, which, with some modification additional guidance, would be eligible for treatment under existing rules. So they're going to say like this, tokenized assets, which I think is an amazing opportunity. Think of it this way. Let's say that you can, this is going off the rails, but I got to say it. So for tokenized assets, let's say you want to get into real estate. You want to buy a skyscraper. Well, if you got a couple billion, you can do it. But if you don't, what if somebody just tokenized a skyscraper and said, hey, we're taking individual investors in. You can put in whatever you want, minimum of $1,500, whatever else. And you get like, I don't know, a couple thousand people doing that. Well, then you just crowdfunded the sale of a tokenized asset, which would be a skyscraper. So with those type of things, because there's collateral next to it, banks love that. They would probably do it. Stable coins make sense because it's pegged to whatever it's pegged to, dollar or the ruble or the tomato coin, I don't know. So sure. And then the second category, Bitcoin and similar crypto, would fall under the latter because they pose additional and higher risks. Sure. This is what it gets kind of crazy. The committee proposed a risk weighing of 1,250% for Bitcoin and other crypto. That would require banks to hold capital equivalent to the face value of the exposure. So it says right here, a $100 exposure would give rise to risk-weighted assets of $1,250. Yeesh. So that means that banks have to hold that much in fiat, which, in all honesty, banks don't hold that much cash, even more so. So if this is just a recommendation, they're talking about it, and that's good. I just don't think that banks really go for that because that means they got to hold all that monetary, and that's not good. So middle of the road article, but this is the big one. I like this one. I always love these stories of adoption and these big companies, these big institutions getting in, because it proves our point all along that this is a solid asset class that they should be investing into and is the best performing asset class over the last decade. That's what it is. I mean, Bitcoin, not like, BitConnect or something. So what's this? Financial giant State Street launches digital finance division, crypto and DeFi. The financial services company State Street offers a wide array of products like investment management, securities lending, stock trading, and banking services. And in Q3, the data shows they have 3.15 trillion assets under management. Let me say that again. 3 trillion assets under management. Is that all going to crypto? No, but it's a heck of a start. We'll take it. The financial institution plans to expand to include crypto, central bank digital currency, blockchain, and tokenization. Just what I was talking about. The financial industry is transforming to a digital economy, and we see digital assets as one of the most significant forces impacting our industry over the next 5 years. Ron O'Hanley, Chairman and Chief or CEO of State Street Corp. Wow. CEO talking about the big game. Digital assets are quickly becoming integrated into the existing framework of financial services, and it's critical we have the tools in place to provide our clients with solutions for both their traditional investment needs as well as their increased digital needs. Man, I got to tell you, if there's anybody that gets it, it's this guy. He's like, the writing's on the wall. We know which way the puck is going. Let's just get the people what they want. It's not our job to understand the hows and the whys. Our job is to provide them with the services that they want and need. And as long as they do that, everybody's happy. There is a disconnect and a friction when you don't do that as a business owner. So it's just a business, man. So just get on board. Lastly, the banking firm further noted that as the objective is to evolve into a multi-asset platform, it will support both crypto asset classes and other types of assets. The aim, this is important, the aim will also be to support our peer-to-peer ambitions by creating new liquidity venues for our clients and investors worldwide. So that is interesting. Peer-to-peer ambitions. Trading, swapping, I'm not for sure. And that, my friends, is the quick update and what is going on. Let's see what you say. This ought to be good. Sorry, I was a little off the rails for a bit there. I apologize. But it is what it is. And these are the types of stories that give me passion, because it seems to me that these are the things that we need to have to move in the right direction. I know people talk about banks are the evil and they're the Satan and whatever else, but sorry, but they're a necessary evil. And I'm not being paid by a bank, for Pete's sakes. Although I do like my bank, USAA. The other ones suck, but whatever. I think it's a necessary evil, and especially for the people that just to get their feet wet and just to experience what it's all about. All right. And that's what do we got in the chats? Tell me how wrong I am and that I'm a moron. Well, there's one right there. Yeah, I want the government in. Oh, and then one more thing. If you give me a thumbs down, give me a thumbs down for the content. Don't give me a thumbs down for any kind of political choice you have if I was talking about renewable energy. That doesn't make any sense. That's funny. Have you guys seen what IBM is doing in the crypto space? Yeah, but they're doing pretty much a closed off system, not decentralized, pretty much centralized, kind of like the Binance Smart Chain, let's be honest. But yeah, IBM's a pretty big one. And I do believe that Stellar is a partner of IBM. Pretty sure. Bankers are evil. They're not all evil. The people that work at the banks are pretty nice, actually. And there's nothing like that. Hello, my fellow Robs. Car stands funny. Hey, Rob, hope all's well. All's great, just hot. You're tanking. You are tanking. The Fed loves you. The Fed loves you. The Fed doesn't love you. The Fed loves what you can do for the Fed. El Salvador will become a Switzerland of the Americans. Yeah, potentially. And again, I want to talk to you guys real quick about something that is kind of, I don't know if it's concerning or how you feel about this, but I want to just show you one more thing, which is all this good news that we have. We've got countries coming in, sovereign funds. We're moving in the right direction. Banks are on board, it seems like. Institutions are getting back in or getting in even more so. And what the heck does the market do? 1.5 trillion, down again. You've got Bitcoin at 36, probably going to go below 36 tonight. Ethereum's going to go below 2,400. Binance Coin 346, Cardano $1.50. Long-term sentiment, everything is bullish. This is Trade the Chain. If you want to check it out, crawls all the interwebs. Also is one of the 5 different companies to integrate with API into Twitter. Gives you a score, tells you what's going on. News moves the market. That's all I can say. And it's just long-term, everything's bullish. But right now, people don't know. People don't know. But to me, I'm not a moon boy. I'm not an extremist. But I do see where things are going. I look at all these articles and I see what's going on. And CJ's, when we did that video today, and he talked about the technicals, about T-Fuel, he's like, I don't really like the technicals on T-Fuel. I think it's then there's a problem here and there. Long term, it's going to do great. And that's just it. So if that happens, it happens. But if you just look and see what it is, these price fluctuations shouldn't affect you. You should just be like, just how I see it. I see it as a positive. We're moving where we should be moving. It just takes a little bit of time. And I just don't. There's a lot of channels, a lot of people on Twitter, and they talk about, there's this huge dump coming and this is happening. I just don't care. I know that's kind of callous, but I just really don't. Because I've been in this game since 2017. I've been dollar cost averaging every single day since then. I just, this is the year. Super chats. What did I miss? There we go. Just had it. XVX. All bankers are evil. XVX, thanks for the donation. Thomas Anderson, how would you diversify between Card Starter, Charlie 3, and OCAM 5 percentage-wise? It's a tough one. How would you diversify? Gosh, you know what? This is one of those things where, like, Charlie is going to be a great oracle. They just need to settle down and expand their team. And they talk about that in the interview, which you can check out over in Digital Asset News Clips. So if you believe in oracles are needed on the Cardano network, and you want to look at Charlie and also Argo, and then Card Starter is like Polka Starter. It's like all those different launch platforms. I mean, once you watch the video, you're going to understand why you probably want to put a lot of money into, or get in. I can't say everything's investment opinion, not investment advice. Card Starter has a process where they take a look at these different projects and they vet them all out. And a lot of them they don't put in. Some they do, and they got a couple of people that work for that. So let Card Starter do all the hard work, and they vet them for you, and you just invest in those, and that's it. And then OCAMFI, I had the CEO on. If you want to do it, 50, 25, 25 with Card Starter being the top. That's the best way I can say it. All right. What else? What else did I miss? His name is Rob. My name is Rob, yes. We got Wyckoff. That's pretty funny. I got to do that. USAA sucks rather than Chase. How dare you, Simple Stacker? I love that bank. I do love that bank. I've had that bank since I was a buck private in the Army. IBM already has the power connection. Yeah, sure. Anyone over 3 years doesn't care. It'll come back. Yeah. But you have to understand, the reason why we don't care so much is because we have so much equity built into it. We bought really low, and now we're just riding it out. So if there's this term I'm going to stop using called paper hands. If you have to sell because you're like, I'm in profit, this is best for my family, you sell. And, that's all I can tell you. It's whatever's best for you. The way you held back on Card Starter was fantastic. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Because I can't really be, I don't want to be talk about how great a project is and then like, this guy's a moon boy, he's on Hopi and whatever else. You do your own opinion. Watch the video. You were on the night shifts. Trust swap, I don't know. Yeah, USA is awesome. The US Bank sucks. And that's it. Shoot. 2 more. One more. And this is it. I got to go. Hang out with my grandson. So Edgar Gonzalez, when do you think Bitcoin will hit 50K? Tomorrow, 7:15 p.m. No, I don't know. I think, Edgar, it's a good question. I think June's going to be a sideways and then a little bit of a dip even more so. Even with all this great news, I think whales are doing a lot of things. But as whales sell, whales are going to get theirs. Whales are going to get theirs because they can't keep selling this, especially when you got an El Salvador making it a legal tender. Other countries are going to pick it up. What if it becomes picked up by a central bank as a reserve, just like they do with gold? What do you think's going to happen then? Well, keep selling whales, keep selling and get locked out of your position. I can't wait for that to happen to you. So it's just a game, though. Just remember that. So I think June's going to be up and down. July will be a recovery, and I think we're not going to see too much of an August. But August, September, and October, fireworks. That's all I can say. All right, that's it for tonight, guys. It's super late, and it's time to get going. But now it's time to say goodbye to all my friends. Thanks so much. Look, if you found value in the video, go ahead and click the like button, subscribe, and also don't forget to, let me one last time get out of the chat. The Alex Mascioli show, I'm going to put in the comments. And then also the playlist for my Cardano ecosystem.